It doesn't matter how great today's Raw show was because the only thing people are going to be talking about is this right here. Alpha Acadmey versus American Made in a Texas Torando match. Two typos in one banner. That's it. No one's going to talk about anything that happened on Raw tonight, and Twitter's going to be losing their mind about that typo. Welcome, everybody. My name is Eddie, and this is the Wrestling with Eddie channel where we talk and review Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, PLEs, and talk pro wrestling all the time. If you guys are new here, which a lot of you are because this is a brand new channel, make sure to subscribe, comment what you thought of tonight's show, and give this video a thumbs up because for some reason that helps the YouTube algorithm. And now, let's talk about Monday Night Raw. So as always, we're going to start with my favorite part of the show, and then we're going to break down segment by segment the whole episode of Raw. Today, my favorite part was the main event, which was Bron Breakker versus Sami Zayn in a 2 out of 3 falls. This match didn't have as much time as normal 2 out of 3 falls matches have, with only about 15 to 20 minutes in total, but I really felt like they put on an excellent match in those 2 out of 3 falls, with Sami getting the first fall, which with a really good haluva kick out of nowhere, Braun getting the second fall with a spear, so it was 1-1, and then they had a lot of good false finishes for the end there. Lots of great moments with Sami doing a moonsault off the barricade and then Braun catching him and chucking him into a chair, which was absolutely beautiful. The camera angles, they showed 3 different ones and it looked nasty across all the board. They had a very nice finish with a spear in midair, which means that Bron Breakker did win and defend the title, which was to be expected. I really don't think anyone thought Sami was going to win the title, but it doesn't mean the match wasn't good, and it doesn't mean Sami didn't put on a lot of good moments, especially one really good haluva kick after the first. So the first one got him the pinfall, but then he got another haluva kick as Braun was running over for the spear, kicked him, and Braun sold his ass off for it. It looked really, really good there, so I was very happy to see that. He did kick out of it, which was a nice little surprise, but the match was also really good. 5 out of 5 in my opinion for a Raw night main event. Woo, very good. Now, let's go from beginning to end. So the first part of the show, they started with, as always, a recap of SummerSlam and Monday Night Raw last week. And then we went right into a Rhea Ripley promo in the ring. Hilarious stuff talking about Dirty Dom. And it was a very good back and forth. And then Dom and Liv were in the crowd talking some smack back to Rhea. Damian Priest showed up, all hell broke loose with the whole Judgment Day. A lot of stuff that transitioned really well into a Damian Priest versus Carlito match, which Damian Priest won. Nothing surprising there. Fun little match. I don't think it was anything wild. And then after that, more shenanigans with the Judgment Day. I am really, really, really enjoying everything when it comes to the Judgment Day here with the new one. Finn Balor, Liv, everything. The chokeslam that Damian Priest gave JD McDonough last week was insane, and then the chokeslam he gave him this week was just as if not better than last week's chokeslam. Damian Priest has one of the coolest chokeslams, and JD makes it look so good. I am very, very excited about this rivalry, and they have officially announced that at Bash in Berlin, we are getting a mixed tag team match with Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley versus Liv and Dirty Dom. Super pumped for that match. Super hyped and pumped, so it came out as humped. Super pumped / super hyped for this match. I cannot wait. Then we had that little banner that I just made fun of. The Texas Torando showed up on screen, setting up a match for later. But before that, we had a lot of other stuff that came up, including another Uncle Howdy / Bo Dallas promo behind the scenes, which is exciting. I am liking these things, but I want them to start moving right away into the next thing. I don't really know what's going on because in this promo with Bo, it was a great promo. I think Bo Dallas is doing an excellent job with the whole Wyatt 6, but it seemed like they were saying their work's not done. So are they not done with Chad Gable? Because later on in the show, Chad Gable also mentioned that he's not done with the Wyatt 6. But I feel like last week was a clear cut, it's over. So I'm not too sure if they're really setting up something else between Wyatt 6 and Chad and the crew, American Made, or if they're moving on. I kind of hope they move on, and I want to see what's next for them, because I definitely feel like Chad and the crew need to do something completely different. So we'll see where this goes. I'm still enjoying the promos, but I'm hoping for something new for the Wyatt 6 outside of Chad and his crew. Then we had Odyssey Jones fight someone. I don't know who. It was just a enhancement talent, and Odyssey Jones, of course, just absolutely destroyed him. And then they had the whole thing with Karrion Kross cutting a promo, and they set up a 6-man tag match for next week on Raw, which is going to be Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston, and Odyssey Jones, so the New Day with Bigger E, against Karrion Kross and the Authors of Pain, which is the Final Testament. This story is kind of working, kind of not working for me. I've been very down on Karrion Kross in the Final Testament, but I do like the New Day. I do like that they are making it obvious. So last week when Odyssey Jones came out, everyone's reaction was, this is weird, he's not Big E. And they are putting that into the story, which is something that I really like about the Triple H era of wrestling, which is they listen to the reaction on social media and the crowd reaction, and they integrate it really well into the show. This is another good example of them not pretending that it's like, well, no, this is like, of course, the whole point of this is to make Xavier uncomfortable in this situation because Big E is normally their third guy, and then Odyssey Jones. So I do like that, but I'm not the biggest Final Testament fan. So this story is kind of just, I'm kind of a wait and see on it. I don't know if I want to see the New Day broken up. I don't know, but I am liking Xavier's work in this whole rivalry. So we'll see. I'm kind of iffy on it. This is not my favorite thing. Then we had a very small Chad Gable promo that he's in Paris right now for the Olympics, talking smack about the Wyatt Six and that he's not done with him, like I said earlier. So nothing special there, but it did transition into Alpha Academy versus American Made in a Texas Torando match. And this match was actually really, really good. This was going to be my match of the night before the Braun Sammy match stole the show for me. Very, very good match. If you guys don't know, a Texas Tornado match is both teams are in the ring, so no tagging in and out of the ring. So they had an excellent match, which Julius Creed messed up his hand at some point. I missed what happened, but he had a giant cut throughout his whole fingers and he was bleeding badly. I am good for him. He no-sold that cut, but I was watching him being like, is someone going to help him? Like, that was a lot of blood that he was losing, but that happened also fairly early on in the match. This was a good length of a Raw match, and it was a really good one. The crowd were super behind Otis and Akira Tozawa, but of course, American Made did win this match at the end of the day because Ivy Nile turned heel on Maxine Dupree, which was, again, not a huge surprise. They kind of been teasing that Ivy Nile is still with the Creed brothers, which are American Made. So she was still with them, but she never actually turned heel. This is her official heel turn, where she attacked Maxine Dupree, which distracted Otis and Tozawa, and then gave the win to American Made, and then she raised her hands. But again, I don't know what happened to Julius. He had a major cut. I hope he's okay. He looked badass though with that blood and continuing the match. So I just, fingers crossed, it's nothing too bad for him. Then we got a Pete Dunne promo talking about his reasons for attacking Sheamus, about the whole Butch story when they were all together and he felt like he was, not elevated and everything. It's a fun little story for Sheamus. I am liking the whole Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser and Pete Dunne. There's a lot of intertwining storylines here, which are really exciting. Nothing incredible, but all just good content. And this is just another good promo to keep building up Pete Dunne while Tyler Bate is out. So can't complain about that. So the next thing I want to talk about is Bronson Reed. So a lot of things happened throughout the show related to him. I'm just going to bunch it all together to this segment, but it didn't all happen back to back. The first thing we got was a Raw Physics video, and this thing was silly, funny, and really good, and I loved it. They did a whole promo about how Bronson Reed destroyed Seth Rollins last week, and they mentioned how they killed him, and this was so good. If you guys get the chance, look up Raw Physics on YouTube. I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of clips, but Michael Cole and Pat McAfee broke down the whole thing with the statistics, and I thought it was really, really good. Reminded me of the Scott Steiner math from years ago. Not to that point of funny, but it was still really, really good. I cannot complain about the Raw Physics promo. Then we had a whole thing behind the scenes with Bronson where he was saying, give me a challenger or I'll do that again. So then we got a Miz, R-Truth, and Randy Orton behind the scenes backstage promo. I thought was really good. Miz was upset. R-Truth came to him and said, hey, you should be happy. I got you a Intercontinental Championship match for later today. He's like, you got me a match against Bron Breakker. And he's like, yeah, you're fighting for the title. He's like, but Braun's fighting Braun's fighting Sami Zayn. And then R-Truth was like, well, isn't that you? And then he showed the poster, which was The Miz versus Bronson Reed. And then R-Truth cut an excellent part here where Miz is like, that's not Bron Breakker, that's Bronson Reed. And then R-Truth was like, isn't that guy that killed Seth Rollins? Like, yes. He's like, oh, my bad. So good. And then Randy walks in, and Randy's like, why is The Miz upset? And R-Truth's like, oh, Miz is fighting Bronson Reed. And Randy goes, isn't that the guy who killed Seth Rollins? Like, yes! So, very good stuff. I really, really like this. Then Randy obviously tried to pump him up and get him ready for the match. And then the match itself happened. Bronson, of course, won. tsunami, and then he destroyed R-Truth. Same thing as last week where all the ref came out and then the general manager came out, Adam Pearce, to stop him. Awesome stuff. I'm really liking what they're doing, Bronson Reed. So I hope you guys are enjoying his part, but I really thought that they did an excellent job throughout the whole show of building it with all the promo packages, all the hype, getting the Miz to not want to fight him, and then doing what they did where he destroyed R-Truth. All great stuff. I'm going to miss Seth. I know he's out for a little while because of this, whether it's a real injury or if he's just taking time off. Either way, I'm going to miss Seth, but I'm excited to see Seth and Bronson Reed in the future if that's something they set up. Then we went into the women's division here. We had Damage Control, a promo backstage, and then Sonya Deville's crew, which are now officially called the Pure Fusion Collective. I don't like that name. I don't know why they went with it, but that's officially the new name for Sonya, Shayna, and Zoe's team. Why? I don't know why that's the name, but that is officially their name now. We'll see. Anyways, we had a match between them to decide a #1 contender for the tag team title against the Unholy Union. And guess what happened? Unholy Union caused a DQ. I don't know why, but this women's division, as I talked about on SmackDown, has some positives, but again, they have a lot of negatives here. And I still feel like there's work to be done. I like the fact that there's a lot of teams and everyone wants the tag team titles. It's building up that tag team division. But I want the titles to be removed from the Unholy Union here. And again, this keeps happening. Why did the tag team champions or any champion stop a #1 contenders match? Because we all know it's just going to be a 3-way now. And this keeps happening. At some point, the champions need to realize, like, wait a minute, we should just let them win. Because it just causes more chaos for the champion. So, anyways, not a big plus for me here. It was whatever. So because we already talked about the main event of Braun and Sami, the last part I'm going to talk about today is everything that happened between Gunther and Randy Orton and a little nice surprise that got integrated into the story. So Randy came out, cut a very good promo. Gunther came out, cut a very good promo. They set up their match really well. And then they had a nice little face-off, very heated, and then Drew McIntyre came out. But before he can say anything, he distracted Gunther enough so that Randy hit him with an RKO. And then, as Drew was about to enter the ring to face off with Randy or Gunther, CM Punk came out and whipped his ass. And I mean, actually whipped him with a belt. You guys should look up. I'm sure there's going to be pictures of Drew's back being absolutely wrecked from that belt damage. And then it looks like they're setting up some kind of special rules match for CM Punk and Drew in the future. So again, this was a great stuff here. Really liking. This is one thing that I'm really enjoying about WWE as a whole. They're doing a great job of integrating many stories all together. So you have Gunther, you have Randy, but Drew wants to be involved, and then CM Punk wants to be involved. Same idea with Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser and Pete Dunne getting involved. There's a lot of stuff like that keep happening. For example, Alpha Academy and American Made and the Wyatt Six. I really feel like it makes the whole show feel like one cohesive story that everything is just blending into the next one. So that's one of the things I'm really enjoying, where it feels like really nice transitions from segment to segment, but from rivalry to rivalry as well. So really good stuff. Happy with the show. Big thumbs up. I would give this an 8 out of 10. I don't think it was as good as Monday Night Raw last week, but still a great show in my opinion. Lots of good matches, lots of good promos, lots of good build up, but this is very much a middle episode of Raw. There's no PLE this weekend, and we didn't just come out of a PLE, so it is going to be a little bit slower, and they're going to start picking up on that last week right before the big event, and the Raw right after the big event. That's it for the review. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you thought of the show. Let me know if this review was a good enough recap. If you want me to go less in detail, more in detail, all those comments. I tried to make clear who are the winners because that was a comment I got last time. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this kind of recap a bit better. But yeah, tell me everything in the comments. Subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up. Have a good rest of your day. Take care. Bye-bye.